Welcome back, guys, to another edition of The Poor Investor. Happy Sunday. Today is a very interesting and fun day because I am still studying for my pen test exam. Almost done with the first chapter. Have a couple questions that I'm going to be answering at the end of that chapter. There's a total of 10 chapters, so it took me about like an hour or so to finish this first chapter. The hard part is that trying to concentrate and having patience for this because I haven't done it in so long. Reading, in general for a long period of time has been something I haven't done in a while, right? I always like reading like short stories. Reading a few minute articles online is a lot different than spending hours digging into a black and white text. That's where we are right now. But let me update you guys really quick. Right now, I have Ubuntu environment all done with VirtualBox. I have a Windows 10 machine running on there with a Chia full node that is syncing right now. Now, the one thing I wanted to do was really just sync it from 0 to wherever it is now on the network space because I wanted to see what that experience was opposed to me just copying my current database that I have on my farmer and then bringing it over. What I really wanted to see was how long it would take new people coming into Chia, as new farmers coming into Chia, how long they should be expecting to sync up the network and the database. And that's something that it's an experience that someone has to go through in order to start farming Chia. Now, I can see that right now, even though it's been like a few hours and it's still syncing, can be really off-putting. So, but I'll get a final answer once that's done and we'll see how that goes. But on my other machine, let me just show you guys really quick. So on my workstation, I do have VM Workstation running right now and I have Ubuntu. So I kind of have it backwards, right? So my host Ubuntu machine has VirtualBox with Windows 10 on it, but my Windows 11 machine has VM Workstation with Ubuntu on it. So you can say what you want, but I'm just mixing it up a little bit and I find that to be a little interesting. Now, I will be using not so much just VM Workstation just for testing Chia, but I am using it for a lab environment for my pen test exam. Once I get into the stage of where I'm going to be using the applications that they suggest and recommend as far as Wi-Fi hacking, password hacking, and vulnerability scanners and things like that, I'm going to be loading it onto a operating system that I have on a VM opposed to on my primary machine. Today's scope of the video, I wanted to go through this particular comment that I received not too long ago, actually just this morning. I felt like it just needed a full attention of a video opposed to me just commenting back because I read this, I looked at it, I'm like, holy cow, this subscriber has giving me that type of ambition to make a video and come back on and continue YouTube, right? Because this is the type of interaction that I enjoy. Right now, what he's saying is, I do not watch your videos in order. I just came from Screw Chia. So let me just, first off, Screw Chia was an April Fool's. It wasn't all serious. Some of it was real feelings in there in regards to Chia, but I am not quitting. I didn't, I'm not looking to sell my drives or anything like that. Second, awesome. I appreciate that so much. You see, there is a lot of passion here in seeing that Chia is going down at the moment. I understand your frustration. As for me, my drives are still at the border. So what I'm trying to understand from that is that his drives are still at the border. So I'm assuming he's overseas and he's ordering it. He still has yet to receive them, but he has already paid for it, which is pretty upsetting if anyone was to be in that situation. I still hope I recover them at some point because for me, it was a big investment and I'm sure it is. Anyone investing or putting money into any capacity of drives any money is always a lot of money, even if it's $1. You may be able to part with the $1, but when it becomes $100 or $1,000, it just becomes, a point when you feel like it's gonna hurt even more. Hope you get your drives. I'm sure it'll be accounted for wherever you ordered it from. Hopefully that comes through for you. I still hope I will recover them at some point, because for me it's a big investment. Yes. And lastly, I hope all will be okay. I am trying to stay positive. All right, so here comes like the kicker, right? But there are some things that don't look good, and I can probably come up with a few as well. For sure, the coin will rise with the Bitcoin wave, and which coin doesn't, right? Every time Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up, which is pretty unfortunate because now it's also predictable. But I feel that it is not enough. We really need a use for them, and not only cats, which is silly in my opinion. I don't disagree with this, right? The whole cat coin stuff, I still don't understand it. It's not a fork, right? The fork are just parallel universes to XCHs. They have their own world going on and they do their own thing. But cats are, the Chia access tokens. What do they do exactly, and what is it benefiting? Why are they even there, or why do they exist? Are they used to like purchase things in games? Are they used to purchase NFTs? I'm sure they can do certain things, but I'm trying to get a better understanding, and maybe that comment here is saying that as well, or trying to understand what this cat thing is. I cannot see a 30-plus-year-old man, other people from YouTube that is excited for a pixelated cat. Like, I am making games in my spare time, and no, just no. Okay, on Rarible or OpenSea are some creators, real ones that really create art from a painting or amazing visual. But once again, cats or monkeys, sorry I stay quiet about this, but now I think many start slowly wake up and see for themselves. I agree, like Bob Ross made a painting and you minted that's like skills, right? That's talent. There's some type of patience that would art and masterpiece that went into this project that he's painting. I love a lot of Asian painting that depict a lot of sceneries. All those type of artwork that people paint, I love those, right? Abstract arts, I'm not too into it. Certain artists really intrigue me. Todd McFarlane from like the old days of Amazing Spider-Man. He was like a cartoon artist. He actually drew Spawn as well. He has a talent for details, attention to details on the characters that he draws. Now, if you mint things like that, or you say those are NFTs and that's what you're buying, then I would be like, wow, that's awesome. But what I'm seeing and what he's saying right here, whether they're cats or monkeys or dogs or whatever animals you choose to put on this little pixelated image, that's not selling it for him. I totally understand. I think there's a misinterpretation between what the cat coins are, which is the Chia access token, and what he's referencing as NFTs. I could be wrong. I want to pick this out a little more. Maybe he can comment back and say, is that what he really meant? This is the real deal. Having a real farm and maintaining all the equipment, that is a plus. Another one would be a use for this coin. Okay, simple question. How to use Chia in real life? Unfortunately, there is no real way of using Chia in real life. The only way you can actually use it when you obtain it is by kind of trading it back or exchanging it back for fiat and taking that money out, so that now you have a value to it, and then you can go out and do whatever. If you're saying like, you want to go to the store, use an app and kind of Apple Pay something in that fashion, not a lot of retailers are accepting Chia, or if any Chia, right? Because they may have Bitcoin, they may have Litecoin, they may have Doge as an option. There's nothing for Chia where you can exchange. But to give it some benefit of the doubt is that Chia is still only been in existence for the last year. Well, going on over a year now. They do need a bigger market to adapt the coin and use it in a fashion where it's more, more frequent. If you're earning XCHs, you can do something with it. But again, that also applies to a lot of crypto out there, not just Chia. But if you want to focus on Chia is the one who's coming out with a company in the IPO, then there has to be a bigger use case for farmers, right? So that's probably what this statement is saying, that if there's no use case, then what's the point of having a company in the IPO and doing all this big stuff and we still can't use it for daily transactions? I mean, that could be debatable. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Can I buy a house, pizza, clothes? Unfortunately, that answer is still no, unless you accumulate enough XCHs and then exchange it back for fiat, take that money out, and yes, you can buy a house, pizza, and clothes. If yes, then how? It's not possible. There is no how to be, well, that was the how, right? So how I just explained it is pretty much the how. These questions I asked myself, and this is coming from a Chia farmer. Small, but still, I really want to see a use for this coin. If there is none, then why we farm it? And I think that statement, that last sentence really goes back to Chia is still a year old. So, we can't expect everything to happen that soon. Although it seemed like it's been a long time because all these things have been happening pretty fast and frequently, and we're hearing so much about it on all these different platforms, right? And they're on the news. And when I say they're on the news, yeah, Bloomberg News, they're on, I think, a couple news outlets on Fox talking about cryptocurrency. It may not be Chia specific, or some of them were. You have tweets from Bram and Gene on Twitter kind of stirring up some tension between other crypto believers, right, outside of Chia. That makes it a little harder for them to adapt to Chia because they're always someone, not just the Chia network team themselves, but the people who believe in Chia. I feel like they're also contributing to that negativity towards other people. I mean, if you really have nothing else good to say, then don't say it at all. Like, why talk down Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other coins, saying that, you know, they use too much energy, they don't know what they're doing, or, you know, the people there are just blah blah blah. You know, I don't see it that way. I don't like to kind of interact with people. I mean, if someone has a different opinion than what I have, I would try to embrace and understand where they're coming from, not so much like just blow them off and say you guys are dumb and you don't know what you're doing. So I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to this comment. It really made my day. The fact that you sat down and put so much attention and asked a serious question is that why are we farming it if, you know, we can't do anything with it? And again, I think it's just a matter of time before we be able to do something with it. I don't know. It may or may not even happen. So we'll find out as time goes on. But right now it's like you just have to either you suck it up and you keep on farming, or you just say, screw it, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm not getting anything. If anything, I'm losing money. And I really hope you do get your hard drives. I understand, like, if you want to give up a project because your equipment is not there, or you paid for something and it never showed up. Now that's a whole different take. I feel that pain. You paid all this money to get the equipment and you have ambition and you have that drive to actually go into this project, but then it never shows up. What do? Do you spend that money again, even though you lost it from the first time? Hopefully you get your refund. You know, there's a lot of things to consider. I know a lot of people do back out of this. Also want to mention that the current nest space is dropping. The price of Chia is dropping still. A lot of people will argue that point and say, no, it's still up there. It's more than what they anticipated to be. Yeah, you can say it is, but at the same time, that's not what happened. It came out higher than what everyone expected it to be, and it is where it is now. So that was pretty much my quick update. I appreciate the comment that came in. Still will be doing videos on the two virtual environments. Once I get all the syncing done on the two VMs, I will make another video of how it would look like if someone has stole your mnemonic and what can they do to make changes to your pool. Hopefully that will come out okay. I want to thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.